going like it's like just grunting from the effort of trying to be like Lord of the Rings, and it's not like whatever. At the end of the day, Narnia is Narnia, and Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings, and they're nothing alike.
No, they aren't. No.
Absolutely nothing alike. And I don't know. It's just like, beyond that, like I felt like after this movie, everything was stepped up. Like this was kind of like set the bar for good filmmaking.
Well, I think that you were saying the other night, like you think Lord of the Rings, was in the early 2000s, and like their CGI. You look at any movie, and the CGI is kind of not very good quality. You're like, well, when was it made? And if it's after 2000, you can't really excuse it.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, I judge Jurassic Park by that, but I mean, like, Lord of the Rings is too. Like, there's movies that come up now, like Twilight. Let's get into Twilight for a bit, because you knew that was going to come up. Twilight has some...
I did not know that was going to come up at all.
I did.
It was totally not on the list.
One of my favorite movies...
My Little Pony, like, I think he just... has these...
No, I'm not gonna lie. Twilight and the Moon's one of my favorite movies to watch, just because it's such an hilarious experience.
Yeah.
It's because the movie is so outrageously awful.
Yeah. They really are terrible.
They're quite bad. And this one of the reasons why they're terrible. The CGI is some of the worst CGI ever. Now, New Moon came out 2009, I believe. Lord of the Rings came out the first Lord of the Rings movie came out in 2001. When a movie that is almost 8-9 years old has better CGI than your movie, and your movie had probably as big of a budget, if not more than not as more, but it had a reasonably large budget, and you couldn't put in at least decent CGI.
Yeah.
Seek out where did all their budget was for New Moon, which came out in 2009. I was correct. It had $50 million. Return of the King, which was the biggest movie that they did, arguably had a budget of $94 million. Now I know that like it's for $40 million more, but still, Twilight New Moon was doing less.
You also
stuff
have more actors to pay.
Yeah,
think of how many people are in the Lord of the Rings or appear in the Lord of the Rings, even as extras.
And just more, just way more stuff. Like there weren't very many extras in New Moon. There was just like the core cast, and that was it.
And you've got to create, like, for Lord of the Rings, you've got to actually build the world, build the sets. Like, I think I haven't seen much of the Twilight movies, but like they're pretty. Like,
someone walked out to their backyard. Yeah. Someone had a big backyard, and they walked out and they filmed it.
They completely built Edoras, like, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Plains of New Zealand.
That video of the guy jumping up and down in his backyard on the broom is actually better edited in terms of what he was trying to accomplish than Twilight is. Which a film where, if you want to see what happens, if you hear about acting methods, right? Like, some actors do have acting methods. Christian Bale, Nicolas Cage.
Viggo Mortensen.
Viggo Mortensen. Like, if you hear about acting methods and you're sort of wondering, like, what is that and how does that affect a movie? Watch Twilight, because it is a movie where all actors picked a totally different acting method, and it was a disaster because they didn't clash well at all.
Because, what's his name? The guy who plays Edward Cullen.
Robert Pattinson.
His acting method for Edward might as well be he takes a spork and jabs into his leg as hard as he can, stays there for 5 minutes, and just holds that facial expression of pain, and that's how he acts. Because that's all.
He hated the movies. So
he hated the movies with a blind passion. I think everyone involved with production did. There was just no joy in those movies.
We got him about Twilight.
But here's the thing. It had a large budget, and it was doing far, far less than Lord of the Rings did. And I never saw where the budget went. Like in Lord of the Rings, I honestly thought they would have needed more to make the movie just because they were doing so much. And not only that, but Twilight was made in Vancouver. They didn't have to fly any of the actors in. And for New Zealand, they had to fly for Lord of the Rings, they had to fly all the actors into New Zealand. And keep them there, like give them a house and like feed them and things. What did Twilight do with the budget? I just don't know. But anyway,
what did the room do? Do you know what the room's budget was?
It was like $5 million.
$6 million.
Yeah,
I just got the exact figure. $6 million for I could not go on without you, Lisa. Like, seriously, that guy's
tearing me apart, Lisa.
Yeah, it's crazy. That dude's making that much money. Oh man.
By the way, Rory,
Who funded that?
Like a
Let's Play.
wishes you a happy Memorial Day video. I think it's really recent.
Oh my god.
I'll show you later.
How is that?
Oh, by the way, for those of you who haven't seen The Room,
Tommy
Wiseau is the director and producer and main actor and the
writer
of
he
The
does
Room.
Everything.
And the best description I've ever had of Tommy Wiseau is, you know that creepy guy who sits on the bus and stares at you funny? Yeah, he made a movie apparently.
And the weirdest thing about Tommy Wiseau is that, the worst part of watching that movie is that because he was so many things, he got paid so much more money than everyone
Well,
else.
it was his movie. I feel like this is a big Tommy Wiseau congratulation movie. Like I'm a great film actor, yeah. We're gonna have, and I'm a great writer. We're gonna make lots of money, and that I'm honestly like that's a pretty decent impression of him.
Yeah.
like that's how he talks.
Yeah, that is of equivalent inflection and whatnot to how he actually speaks. But that's what $6 million buys you
Yeah.
if you're planning on making a movie.
Yeah. Why did they do? Anyway, yeah. But Lord of the Rings, the money went off a very long way.
Yeah, it seems like they used every dollar.
Yeah. They were probably like Peter Jackson by the end of the production was probably looking for quarters in his couch or something like that. Looking.
What I really do like admire about Lord of the Rings is that like the cast, it was just so well cast. Like, I don't think anyone's in the wrong role, and like a good decision to change Aragorn as well. But like he really didn't care. Like, I mean, it's a very like international cast as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, Orlando's American, but then like Vigo has this weird like sort of he's moved everywhere accent, and like it was never you got like Carl Urban, like it was never like an issue because Harry Potter, I think like one of the contract for J.K. Rowling was like you have to have British actors, and I mean like maybe it suffered for not being able to really get the best people, and I like that like it didn't matter really what English accent you had as long as
I agree. It was
maybe
it was
that's
well done.
thing of Metal
And not
Armor,
only that, but the cast all like I didn't like from all the interviews and videos I've seen of the cast and all the behind the scenes footage. No one in all the main actors and everyone liked each other, and they liked all of like they had such a for a lot of all the hobbits had to, and to an extent the dwarves had to have stunt doubles, not stump doubles, but
size
doubles, because dwarves and hobbits are smaller than humans and elves. And not only were all the main cast friendly with each other and had this great camaraderie, but they had great camaraderie with all the production crew and all like the stunt doubles and the size doubles and everything. They just seemed to be like a great cast, and it seemed like no one was like, oh, I can't wait for this film to be over. Everyone was really into the film.
You can never have a 15-month shoot and like what is it, 5 years of post production. You didn't love everyone you worked with, I suppose.
Yeah.
It was cause some legendary conflicts have broken out on sets of movies, right?
Yeah, because there was like the Christian Bale meltdown in the Terminator.
You didn't hear about that?
No.
So we cannot air it, by the way. So
we can't air it.
I'll
No,
link it
because
in our Facebook, but there's so much swear words we cannot.
so Christian Bale, they were working on Terminator Salvation, directed by a guy. This is literally his directing name, Mick G. So just want to let that sink in. And Christian Bale lost it at the director of photography or something, I believe.
Was it? I thought it was the guy holding the boom mic.
Well, no, he was messing with the lights, but he was a high up position. Like he's very talented at what he does.
I thought it was like when Ari Gold and the Entourage like fired the janitor.
No, it's not like it's not like he yelled at some guy who just like holds microphones or something. But yeah, and the guy was like messing with the lights or something, trying to get the scene to work correctly. And Christian Bale, who's legendary for sort of staying in character and always being in the character of John Connor, which is why he doesn't have most of his accent when he goes on his rant, because he's doing John Connor.
Yeah.
Just like confused character with reality. This is literally akin to his explanation, and lost it at the guy. Just started screaming at him, telling him he was going to hurt him, which, by the way, could not happen.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever seen this guy, this is the guy he was yelling at. The guy is huge.
Yeah.
He's a former football player, I believe. And it was just, and Christian Bale after apologized, and a lot of people gave him, a lot of crap for it, but it was
I will say that
crazy.
about Christian Bale, he did apologize. That's bigger than a lot of other actors I've heard have had blowouts or celebrities.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
well, like Lord of the Rings, they just have like such like they're all like down New Zealand, like I'm sure most of them hadn't even been to New Zealand, so like and all working together. And one of my favorite stories though, I think Aragorn, like let's give lead to like Orlando, Vigo, and John Rhys Davies had to like go out and that scene, I think it's in Two Towers, are just running.
yeah.
And they wanted some shot of running with a sunrise.
Yeah.
And so they had to like go out to this shoot location, which was 4 hours away or something from Wellington. And they were like, well, we should just go out and stay overnight. And like the cast and the crew just kind of made it like a big event, like way more people than actually needed for this shot went out, and they like camped overnight, and then they got up for the sunrise, and it's just a lot of cute little stories like that.
Good dedication.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember there's a really funny story from about Sean Bean, who played Boromir, who died in what became a long-standing career of dying in the first installment of things.
He's getting this, at least it's a pilot they made or something. I think it's called Legend. It's a Sean Bean's a CSI. CIA. It's about the CIA.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the tagline, or like I guess maybe it's unofficial, is where Sean Bean doesn't die or something.
Yeah, well, that's the thing,
he's
like,
going to live.